Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn to define what heat capacity, specific heat capacity, and molar heat capacity of a substance and explain the differences between them. 2. Explain the difference between heat and temperature. 3. We will learn to solve problems related to specific heat capacity and the amount of heat transferred. In the earlier video, we learned that heat is a form of energy that flows from a hot object to a cold object. For example, we have two different objects, one at 100 degrees Celsius and the second one at 50 degrees Celsius. When they are brought into contact with each other, the heat flows from the hotter object at 100 degrees Celsius to the colder one, which is at 50 degrees Celsius. During this heat transfer, the temperature of the hotter object keeps decreasing and the temperature of the colder object keeps increasing. And when both the objects come to same temperature, the heat flow stops. So, if you add heat to a substance, its temperature increases. And if you remove heat from a substance, its temperature decreases. It's like the relation between cash added or removed and your bank balance. When you add cash to your account, your bank balance goes up, and when you remove cash from your account, your bank balance goes down. In the next slide, we will learn if there is any relation between the amount of heat added and the change in temperature of an object. The amount of heat that we add or remove is directly proportional to the change in temperature of the substance. That is, Q is directly proportional to delta T. What this equation tells us is, if you add more heat to an object, the temperature change will be greater. Conversely, if we want to increase the temperature of a substance by a larger magnitude, we need to add more heat. If we remove the proportionality sign from this equation, we need to replace it with a constant. Q is equal to capital C times delta T, where capital C is a proportionality constant called as heat capacity. Q is heat lost or gained by an object. Delta T is change in temperature, that is T final minus T initial. Let us now define what heat capacity of a substance is. If we manipulate the above equation and isolate heat capacity on one side, we get C is equal to Q over delta T. Now, if delta T is equals to 1, then heat capacity is equal to the heat transferred. Now let us define what heat capacity is. The heat capacity is equal to the heat energy required to increase the temperature of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. Next, we will discuss the properties of heat capacity. The heat capacity of a substance depends on the type of the substance. That is, different materials have different heat capacities. For example, heat capacity of water could be completely different than the heat capacity of iron block. 2. Heat capacity is an extensive property. That is, it depends on the amount of the substance. For example, we have two iron blocks. One is 100 grams and the second one is 50 grams. We want to increase the temperature of both these iron blocks by 1 degree Celsius. So we need to add heat to these blocks. If Q is the amount of heat required for 50-gram block to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius, then it takes 2Q amount of heat for 100 grams block to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Therefore, we can say the heat capacity depends on the type of substance and the amount of substance. Therefore, whenever we are defining the heat capacity, both the type of substance and the amount of substance must be specified. For example, the heat capacity of an iron block is 45 joules per 100 grams of iron block. What it means is, if we have a 100-gram block of iron and to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius, we need to add 45 joules of heat energy. The heat capacity can be expressed in two different ways to make it independent of the amount of the substance. One, the specific heat capacity, or simply called specific heat. Two, molar heat capacity. Let us now discuss what each of these terms mean. Specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is represented by the letter small c, and it is defined as the heat capacity per 1 gram of a substance. Mathematically, we can write specific heat capacity, or just specific heat, is equal to heat capacity of the substance divided by the mass of the substance. And we can replace the heat capacity of the substance by Q over delta T. Therefore, the specific heat capacity is equal to Q divided by delta T times M. Now, if delta T is equals to 1 degree Celsius and M is equals to 1 gram, then specific heat capacity C is equal to Q. We can define the specific heat capacity in the following way. Specific heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance by 1 degree Celsius. The units of specific heat capacity are joule per gram per degree Celsius. The specific heat capacity of an object or a substance is an intensive property. That is, it is independent of the amount of substance. For example, specific heat capacity of 100 grams of water is same as the specific heat capacity of 200 grams of water. The reason is, specific heat by definition is always expressed per gram of a substance. Next, the molar heat capacity, C sub n. It is defined as the heat capacity per 1 mole of a substance. Mathematically, molar heat capacity is equal to heat capacity divided by the number of moles of substance. And we can replace heat capacity with Q over delta T. Therefore, molar heat capacity Cn is equal to Q divided by delta T times N, where Cn is the molar heat capacity, Q is heat lost or gained, delta T is temperature change, and N is the number of moles. If delta T is equals to 1 degree Celsius and N is equals to 1 mole, then molar heat capacity is equal to Q. The molar heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. The units of heat capacity are joules per mole per degree Celsius. Similar to specific heat, molar heat capacity is also intensive variable. That is, it's independent of the amount of substance. These are the specific heat capacities of common substances. Liquid water 4.18 joule per gram per Kelvin. Solid water, that is ice, is 2.03, and so on. Now what it means is, if we take 1 gram of all these substances, let us say all these substances are at 25 degrees Celsius, and we need to increase its temperature to 26 degrees Celsius. To do this, we need to add heat to each of these substances. So, how much heat does it take? For liquid water, it takes 4.18 joules. For ice, it takes 2.03 joules. For iron, it takes 0.45 joules. And for aluminum, it takes 0.89 joules. So, larger specific heat means large amount of heat is required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of substance by 1 degree Celsius. Now, what happens when these substances cool down? Let's say these substances are cooled down by 1 degree Celsius. That is, they are cooling down from 26 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. In doing so, all of these substances release heat. How much heat do they release? The liquid water would release 4.18 joules, solid water 2.03 joules, iron 0.45 joules, and aluminum 0.89 joules of heat. Next, let us solve some problems. Example 1. Water is used as a coolant in automobile radiators because it has high specific heat capacity of 4.18 joule per gram per Kelvin. If a typical radiator can hold 3.5 kilograms of water, how much heat can it absorb from the engine? Assume the initial temperature of water is 25 degrees Celsius and the temperature of water can go up to a maximum of 90 degrees Celsius. The mass of water is given as 3.5 kilograms or 3500 grams. The specific heat of water is given as 4.18 joule per gram per degree Kelvin. And the temperature of water can go from 25 degrees Celsius to 90 degrees Celsius. That is, delta T is T final minus T initial, 90 minus 25, that is 65 degrees Celsius. And we need to calculate the amount of heat that the water sample can absorb. We can use the formula Q is equals to mc delta T, where Q is heat lost or gained, m is mass, small c is the specific heat capacity, and delta T is temperature difference. Let us plug in all the values. We have 3500 grams of water. Specific heat is 4.18 joule per gram per Kelvin. And temperature change is 65 degrees Celsius. The specific heat has kelvins as the units of temperature, and the temperature change is expressed in degrees Celsius. Since we are measuring difference in temperature, the difference will always be same no matter what the units are. Therefore, 65 degrees Celsius can also be written as 65 Kelvin. Kelvin gets cancelled. Gram gets cancelled. If we do the math, we get the heat energy absorbed by water is equal to 950 joules. So, the water can absorb a maximum amount of 950 joules of heat energy. Let us do the same calculation with oil, whose specific heat is 1.67 joule per gram per Kelvin. Again, Q is equals to mc delta T. Specific heat is now 1.67 joule per gram per Kelvin. Temperature change remains the same, that is 65 Kelvin. If we do the math, we get 379,925 joules. As you can see, oil can absorb way less heat than water to increase its temperature by same amount. And that is the reason why we use water as the coolant in the radiator. Example 2. Let us suppose we have 1 gram of water and 1 gram of iron metal, and we add 4.18 joules of heat to both of them. Calculate the change in temperature of water and iron block. The specific heats of water and iron block are given. Again, we can use the formula Q is equals to mc delta T. The mass of each substance, heat absorbed by both the substances, and specific heat of each of the substance is given. We need to calculate the change in temperature. From the formula, we can write change in temperature delta T is equal to Q over mc. Let us now calculate delta T first for water and then for iron block. For water, delta T is equals to Q, which is 4.18 joules, divided by mass of water, which is 1 gram, divided by specific heat of water, which is 4.18 joule per gram per degree Celsius. Joules and joules get cancelled, gram and gram gets cancelled, 4.18 gets cancelled. Delta T is equals to 1 degree Celsius. That is, if we take 1 gram of water and supply a heat of 4.18 joules, its temperature increases by 1 degree Celsius. Let us do the same thing for iron block. We added a heat of 4.18 joules and we have 1 gram mass of iron block, and the specific heat is 0.45 joules per gram per degree Celsius. Joules get cancelled, gram and gram gets cancelled. If we do the math, we get 9.16 degrees Celsius. Now if we look at both these numbers, we can say that if we supply same amount of heat to two different substances having same mass, the substance with lower specific heat will have a greater increase in temperature. You can see how this impacts us in real life when you go to a beach. The specific heat of water is 4.18 joule per gram per degree Celsius, whereas the specific heat of sand is 0.8 joule per gram per degree Celsius. For this reason, on a sunny day, when same amount of heat is added to both sand and water, the temperature of sand increases by a greater amount than that of water. That is why we see hot sand and cool water on the beach.